All right, guys, welcome back. So this afternoon, we're learning about how the courts are functioning during Phase 2. And joining us virtually, we have our favorite local attorney, Alex Stanford, joining us. Good afternoon, Alex.
Good afternoon, Taylor. Good to be back after a short break.
Absolutely. All right, so what have you guys been seeing in the courts? How are they operating? What should people kind of expect?
Well, the first thing to mention is that for the most part, courts are operating, but they have instituted some pretty drastic measures to maintain social distancing. So the first thing I want to mention on what that is going to entail for people, be outside. It's not like it used to be where, oh,
Oh, no. Live TV, guys, just bear with us. Hold on. Alex, you still there?
Are we back?
Yep, I can hear you. Your screen is paused. There you go. Okay, so what can people expect?
Are we good?
You're good.
Okay, what I was saying before that interruption, sorry about that, is that they're not letting people inside. You have to wait outside until they call you on your docket. So if you're going in for something criminal, you're going to have to wait outside. They're not letting people mill around the courtrooms. And so it's a little bit hot out there for that. But the biggest thing with family law is that hearing officer conferences, whether you're doing some kind of custody or property issue, nobody's allowed inside with the hearing officer. It's just attorneys only. So you're going to have to be available by your phone so that they can call you and you're going to give your testimony through the phone system. And so that's a pretty big difference. It's made it very, very awkward because you can't look people in the eye, you can't read them, and how their facial features change. So it's been a little awkward. We've had some hiccups with conference calls not being able to work. We even did a Zoom conference, but for the most part, everything's done remotely for family law type stuff. If you have a hearing in family law, they're not letting anybody in. It's just the parties. And so if you have witnesses and stuff, they're going to have to wait outside. It's been real slow. So be prepared. Wait outside, wait a long time, and you may have to do things by phone. Those are the biggest takeaways.
I mean, about 1 minute left. Would you say that legal proceedings are just taking a lot longer? Or would you say that that's not the case?
Well, as far as the wait times of the proceedings, because they're not letting people stay in the courthouse itself, it slows everything down because when they finish something, they have to go out and call the new people to come in, and with witnesses, it's one at a time. They have to take their testimony by phone, and so I've spent the last 3 times I've been to court, it was all day where you're just waiting. And we had 2 where we actually had made a settlement, but we couldn't even go and enter our settlement into the record because you just have to wait until all the people are cleared out because they just don't want too many at the same time. And so it's a really time-intensive process, which is really unfortunate for people who are paying their attorneys, because then it's like that's all billable time and you can't get around it. You can't do anything other than just put up with it. But the judges and the hearing officer staff, they have been very sensitive to these problems, and they've been very helpful in working around people. But the big problem I've seen is that a lot of people don't know that they're not going to be allowed into their hearing officer conferences, and so they show up, and then the deputies have to kick them out, and that's not very cool because you don't want to be told like, hey, you got to get out of here. So make sure if you have a family law issue and it's going into a hearing officer conference, check with your attorney to make sure you're even going to be allowed in there. Otherwise, don't even bother. So that's just a helpful tip.
Definitely helpful tips indeed, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing that information. If you guys want to recap this, we're going to post this interview on our website, kadn.com. Let's go check in with Adam.
Well, Taylor, coming up.